cloud.
All right.
All righty.
Okay, let's go.
It's official.
All right, we're going to begin with a big hello for everybody. Okay, so we'll call in all the energy of the higher realms and the beings of light, and let that light fill up our being. Breathe it in. Breathe it in. Breathe it into every part of your being, the higher realms of light. Now let's take a deep breath. And let's reach out to each other. We're all light workers here. Let's reach out together with a big hello, and Greg will give us 10 seconds.
All right, so everybody can unmute yourselves for a good 10 seconds or so. And then we're just gonna reach out with a big quantum hug and we're just gonna give each other a hug. And everybody just say hello, say what's your name, say where you're from, anything, just for the next 10 seconds.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Nice to meet you, everybody. I like the animals.
Oh,
hey.
Joan and Greg, Lorenzo,
All right.
Debbie.
I heard every single thing that was said. That's amazing.
Okay, now let's see if everybody closes up their,
Yep, I got everybody muted now.
okay. All right. Now we're joining together as these light workers on the world today. Each and every one of us, if we're here, maybe you're just curious, but even if you're curious, you're still working in the light on this earth at this time. So I want to begin the session by calling in the higher beings of light we work with. So taking a deep breath, we're going to be calling in the loving light of Melchizedek. Breathe Melchizedek's light and energy in, a beautiful angelic being from the higher realms. And now we'll call in Archangel Metatron. Take a big hug. Nice big deep breath. And invite it in with that big hug and breath. Invite in that light. And now let's call in Archangel Michael. And breathe in the loving light of Archangel Michael. Now, these are the three great beings that work together for the re-education of our world at this time. So these three great beings are working with each and every one of us. Breathe them in. And we'll breathe in the energies of all of the archangels. Breathe it in. Breathe in the energy of all the ascended masters. The Elohim. The Lords of Light. The Star Mothers. And all the beings of light that are here. They're working with each and every one of us at this time. And we'll call on the light of Saint Germain and the violet light. And for those of you who are studying Reiki, we'll call on the Reiki light and the holy fire light. Now breathe all this light into your being. And know that you are one with it. As you breathe it in, you are now contacting your own higher being, your own I am presence of the divine light of all that is. We call on the light of Lord Sananda and the higher realms that came to the earth as the Christ light of energy of unconditional love. And call in the light of Buddha that have taught us that our thoughts are what we need to work on and that cause our suffering. So the unconditional light of love is here. All the light of all the beings that each and every one work with us. And if there's other beings of light that you work with them, call them in at this time. There's so many archetypes and gods and goddesses that are working with the light with us. Like the energies of Kuan Yin, call them in. Lady Tara, all these beings Each and every one of us are working with. Now I'm going to begin. So now take a deep breath with all that light and know that you are that. And know that you are the one you're searching for. It's all within us. All the great masters that came to this world, they have taught. It lies within us. But we've been seeking it outside as well as inside. And as light workers, we come to terms that merely how we start dealing with what is happening deep within us so we can reach our own true nature. Okay, so I'll take a deep breath and come back to center. And I'm going to begin my talk tonight on our world today that we are living in now. And then I'll go into how the Melchizedek teachings can help us to navigate this world by bringing us more and more into our true nature. So if you look outside of us, we see this world. We see this world of anger, this world of fear, this world of worry and sadness. And we see this all going on outside of us. And all the great masters have taught us. This is the illusion. What do we mean by delusion? Allowing ourselves to get caught up into all of these emotions and all of these energies that are outside of us. And then we get hooked into somebody is portraying anger, so we get angry at them. Same with fear, the portraying fear, we get into that, or worry or sadness, whatever it is in these emotions. These emotions, and what I'm learning is, they are a cover up for the truth that lies inside of us. So we can use this time to look at all the emotions going on outside and then go back inside of ourselves and find the part of us that is angry. What is the part of us in fear? What is the part of us that's worried? The part of us that feels sad about what's going on in this world. So as light workers, we're going to begin to understand that with all of this is going on the outside of us, has been going on in humanity for thousands of years. It's been hidden on the outside or hidden in the inside of us and hidden in the inside of each and every one of us. So we've got to be very careful at this time not to separate ourselves in a way that we feel we're better than anybody else that's involved in this. Because if we do, that's our ego. That will let us feel that we're better off. But actually what we will feel and begin to feel through our teachings is that we are these magnificent beings of light. And this is who we truly are, covered up with all of this stuff we see outside of us now. So we can use this time to look at these emotions, check out ourselves, and see how we carry them. For instance, as I learned from a Chinese master, when you're into anger, it is affecting your physical being and the cells in your being. It's affecting your liver. So these emotions are affecting us. When we go into fear, fear is affecting us physically. It's affecting our kidneys. We go into worry. It's affecting our pancreas. And all the sadness that we allow into us is affecting our lungs, our very breath. And all of it is affecting the cells of our being. So in the Melchizedek method now, how are we going to help? By not living in the illusion, but checking it out, what part of that is inside of us, and heal it in us. This is the ultimate that we need to do. So when we feel angry at somebody out there, as a light worker, are we able to turn inside and say, I'm angry at them, where's the anger in me? Because if I respond or react with anger, I have a cord of energy going between me and that energy on the outside. Just think about that. So how do you separate yourself from that? This is what we need to learn. And this will be part of the teaching. How do we learn? We work with, it's called holograms of divine love. And a hologram is something that we create because we are creators. And we create it with sacred geometry. And Greg is going to show you some pictures now of the sacred geometry that we work with in the Melchizedek method. He's got the picture of the flower of life. And he's got a picture of all the 5 platonic solids that we'll be working with. Okay, Greg, now show the Merkabah. Okay, there's a hologram. So what the hologram is, you're taking the flower of life and you're working with it as a sphere of light. And you're working as a multi-dimensional sphere of light because we are multi-dimensional beings. Now, Greg is going to show a picture of the Merkabah that we'll be working with. This is the Merkabah.
Show it right here. Oh, this is a good picture. Yeah.
This is a picture of the Merkabah. There's a lot involved in this. We learn in the course. All right. But now we can get back to the group, Greg.
Okay.
What is this Merkabah? This Merkabah is a field of light around us. It is multidimensional. That means that we are multidimensional beings of light. We have come from the light and we've taken on a physical mission at this time. And each person will find out what are the reasons that we're here for. We're each here for a certain reason. And basically, we're all here for one thing, is to bring the light to the earth, the light that we came from. How do we do that? We connect to our own higher being, our own I am presence is how we connect to that. So this Merkabah field of light, and in the Bible, Elijah talks about it. I don't know if anybody that are familiar with that talks about the Merkabah. Also, the Merkabah is really talked a lot about in the Kabbalah. Those from Jewish traditions and those that have been studying Kabbalah, you'll find a lot. And there are people that brought this understanding to the earth at this particular time of the age we're in now. John below Melchizedek, if any of you have studied him, Alton Camadon, who I worked with, and there's many others who have brought this and the idea and the understanding of sacred geometry to us. With the understanding, we are created from sacred geometry. We are sacred geometry. And so I want to talk about that in this way now, a few different ideas we work with. And one is we work what's called natural time. What is natural time? We're working with the galactic realm of light that we're in here for natural time. And natural time is within us. But we come to this earth and we have a whole different time that we need to work with. Even though we are natural beings of light, working with the galactic time and natural time, we on the earth have adopted the time for the earth that when we're in this realm that we need to live in, which is referred to as 1260 time, all right? 12 plus 12 hours in a day, 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes an hour, etc. In order to reside on this earth, we need to operate within that time zone to operate and work on this earth. But we have this natural coding inside that as we work with meditation, we try to activate that natural timing within us. And just so you understand what it means by the natural timing, it's this. The natural time, according to the Mayans, brought this information to it, as many, many ancient beings brought this information to us, is referred to as 13, 20, 33. Now we're going to look at our bodies and see how this relates to our physical being. We have 13 movements in our body. Check them out. 2 ankles, ankle on each foot. Your knees, your hips, your wrists, your elbows, your shoulders, and your neck. All of that adds up to 13. So those are the 13 movements. Spirit moves through us in those movements. So when you feel spirit come to you, your being wants to move. Every part of you wants to move in that. And you'll see many of the shamans and the ancient beings of light on this earth, when they go to their religious services, they're moving, they're dancing in the light and movement, right? So because they're allowing the spirit to dwell within them and to be expressed within them by movement of the dance, whatever movement that their body needs to go through. And the movement comes through the inner spirit within them. That's where it's coming from. You feel it deep within you and your body just wants to express itself in movement. Then, as human beings, we also have 10 fingers and 10 toes. That is adding up to 20. All right. This is where matter is expressed through our 10 fingers and 10 toes. And then we have, adding 10 plus 20, we get 33. And we have 33 vertebrae in our back. So this has been known as galactic time, 10, 20, 33. And you see, we are made, and when I first learned this, I said, oh, that's when I was a child. I learned that we're made in the image and likeness of God. All right? We are. We are galactic beings of light. We're made in that image. We are these magnificent beings of light. And where we're doing this age is trying to come to understand who we are in our magnificence. All right, and I took a few notes. I want to make sure all right. There's another thing that we do with the Merkabah of light. We use it as a vehicle to travel. And as a vehicle of travel, as we go into this light that's all around us and activate it, we then brought in through our Merkabah, we travel to the stars, to the beings of light, to Arcturus, the Pleiadians, Orion, any one of these stars that you feel connected to. We learn and work with the platinum light. And then we realize that the dolphins and the whales are holding the platinum light on this earth for us. Why do we love to go to a whale watch? Why do we love to communicate with the dolphins? they're holding this very high vibrational platinum light for us. So many that I work with make a very strong and powerful connection with these beautiful animals. And I'm going to ask Greg at this time to kind of fill in anything I missed about the Merkabah of light. And he can explain exactly how to, he will explain exactly how to access it. And anything else that might be appropriate to talk about from the Melchizedek Method this time. Okay, my son Greg is the one who sets up. I've been working with this type of work since the mid-90s. And Greg has been in all over the world traveling, and he's come home now, and he set up this whole studio, and he works with me as my partner.
Well, actually, yeah, well, from me, I'm a traveler. So Melchizedek Method is my favorite method, healing modality to work with. And it's just simply because what you can do with the Melchizedek Method is you learn and you understand what all these light structures are around us and what we are. We're beings of light. You know, this flesh suit is really just an astronaut suit. And right underneath the skin, we're these beings of white light. And every living creature has a Merkabah, has a field of light around them. And so we work with this. The squirrels and the birds, the plants have them too. Human beings, we have our Merkabah, and it's this spherical like type of field of energy around us. And so with the Melchizedek Method, what we learn is we learn how to activate these within us. And we can do it from, for instance, a very simple way of activating your Merkabah is to place your attention in your heart and then just project out unconditional love in 6 directions: before you, behind you, to the right, to the left, above and below. And what that does is it sends your heart love out, because the heart is not just a chakra, it's a portal. It's our special, it's our singularity of who we are as a being, heart-centered, heart-centered. So as we project out, and we really just literally just project it out, and we practice doing this, and after you're doing this, you're going to start to feel this. And you're going to start to feel these light structures around you. You're going to start to feel this Merkabah, these 6 directions of love light, right? Love light. It's an actual substance, right? This white light, unconditional love. It goes out, it activates our Merkabah. And the more you start working with this, you're going to start to feel this spin. And you're like, okay, wow, this is real. Okay, I'm in my own spaceship here. And that's how I feel it is, because when we activate our Merkabah, we're in a sphere of light. And it's the only sphere that we get. We're living in basically this Merkabah, which is our sphere of life experience. And if we fill our Merkabah with love, we're going to experience life as something loving. You know, it just kind of makes common sense that way. So what we do is we activate this Merkabah, we enlighten it, right? We're getting enlightened. It's not just being able to say nice things to somebody. We're literally bringing more light into ourselves, because we have this beautiful, wonderful sun, right? But it's a 3rd dimensional sun. The light that we're calling in the Melchizedek Method is 5th dimensional light and higher. It's the higher light. It's a superluminal. It's light with a capital L. It's different. It's going to feel different. It's going to do more. And when you create this, really a capsule, this Merkabah that you live in, it becomes a communication capsule. You can hear your angels and your higher self a lot clearer. It's a healing chamber. You fill it with healing light. I want to work with the green ray of light. I'm going to make my Merkabah green today and work on my heart chakra, something like that. So it's also because this healing chamber, and it's also a chamber or a sphere of protection as well. It's a place where you can call in your abundance from the universe and the angels. It's a place where you can communicate with your own inner self. So I wanted to mention that about the Merkabah. And also, as we're creating this and activating this Merkabah around us, we're also using, like what Joan was mentioning, these holograms. And they're healing holograms. So what we do as co-creators is we're calling in the light, and we're going to create these little spheres. And we use the flower of life because everything is created by the flower of life. So it makes sense to take that pattern and imprint it on our Merkabah, to add more power and to bring the sacred geometry and everything else in. So as we do this, we understand that we can make these mini little spheres, these little flower of life holograms. And these are real light structures. And whether we can see them or not with our biological eyes doesn't make any difference, because they're there. And the more we start working with it, we're going to start feeling it. You're going to be able to take this little ball of light. I like calling them, divine scrubbing bubbles, if you will. And you can take one of these spheres and put it on your heart and work on your heart for a while. You can imagine trillions of these little spheres, surrounding every single one of your cells. And as we do this, we call in this light into this cellular way like that, we start to understand that with the Melchizedek method, we get, just like what Joan was mentioning, how our fingers and toes and all of our senses are in the front, so we can work in a third dimension. Well, etherically speaking, the fifth dimension and higher is behind us. You can kind of think of it that way. It's behind us. And you can even feel sometimes your guides and angels coming in from your back. We work with what's called the time-space continuum, which is the tunnel of light, and we're calling in that light. You can feel sometimes your angels coming right into your spine or the back of your head. So we're calling this light in from quote unquote behind us to right in front of us and in us, so we can work with it. And I just got this little kind of this little donut guy here. And this is just to illustrate a quick little point, is that when we call in this light in a cellular way, if you think of the front of us being third dimensional and behind us being fifth and higher dimensional, what we're really doing is taking this little donut, which represents our cells, right? Every cell is in the shape of a tube torus, spherical tube torus. And we're really actually churning our cells like this. And what happens with this is we're bringing that higher light from over here, so to say, coming through the cell and into our third dimensional body. But if you notice, because we're using sacred geometry, every area of the surface of this cell, all the surface area passes through its singularity. We have a singularity, a center of our heart. Every cell has a singularity. And so this entire cell passes through that singularity and actually goes into the higher dimensions, so to say. So the stuff that we work with the Melchizedek method, it's really fun, and it's a little sciencey, but it's so very much fun. And so what's really great from my perspective of working with this is that you hear about, well, I got this light antenna, and I got, I felt my wings the other day, or I got this little structure. You're going to start to feel these real light structures that we can't see with our biological eyes. You're going to start to feel your Merkabah. You're going to start to feel your angels and guides behind you, maybe even touching you on the head or the shoulder, that kind of thing. Because the more we call in this light, the more we are both third and fifth dimensional. And so that's kind of how I see it as a light worker, is that we're on the, kind of the fence here between third and fifth and higher dimensional light. And if you're right there in that balance, then boy, you're calling in that wonderful light and unconditional love from your higher self and angels and guides, etc. And you're bringing it right into your life, right into your sphere, the now, because that sphere is the only sphere that we got. It's the now. We only have the now. We only have what's in front of us. That's what life is. It's not in the past, it's not in the future. So this really teaches us through real structured and incredible meditations done by Alton Camadon. And I just want to show you, this is with the level 1 and 2 that we have coming in December. You can see that everything is on CDs. I mean, it's like, I don't know, 10 or 12 CDs here that you listen to over and over and over again to practice with. Comes with a wonderful manual. And I go through this and I listen to these certain meditations every day. And it just practice and practice and practice. And things change. You start to change. Bad habits start to drop off. Worries. You find you have so much free time because you didn't realize how much time you were worrying before. And then all of a sudden they just fall away. So this is real life improvement kind of stuff. But it's in a way that you can, well, for my money, it's in a way that you can go and travel to Orion when you wanna. You can go to Uluru, you can go to Mount Shasta, you can go in Mount Shasta in your Merkabah. You can travel around the earth, you know, which is a great thing to do during the pandemic. It's not so easy to get on a plane these days. Well, we don't have to. This teaches us how to be quantum, how to call in the light and to be where we need to be and do what we need to do for ourselves, to truly be co-creators in our life, and to activate this structure of light around us, and to really start feeling. From my perspective, the best thing for me was, wow, I heard somebody talking about getting tinkles up in the little funny feeling on the top of their head, like they were connected. I wish that happened for me. Why isn't that happening for me? Start working with this. Oh, wow, I just felt the little tingles up here. You know, I just felt that chakra light up. Wow. So for me, it's about really feeling this stuff and really working with it, and working with light, not just as something that comes out of a flashlight. You know, light is a substance. It's love is a substance, and we work with it, we create with it. And when we're creating Merkabahs and creating holograms, pretty soon you find you've created that book you always wanted to write. You created that new job. You created that better relationship. These things, they just start to happen. And from my perspective, they happen because I'm having a lot of fun space traveling. So that's kind of my spiel on the Melchizedek method. And that's coming up, the workshop itself is coming up December 4th and 5th, 11th and 12th. But we also have a Melchizedek healing in the evenings too, that Joan and I do. And I put our website on the chat for everybody. And the next one is coming up actually October 28th. And that's just an hour kind of group healing thing. So please, I encourage you to take a look at that as well.
And that's open to everybody.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I just want to emphasize one thing in terms of how we work with the healing method and the Melchizedek method. And Greg talked about these holograms. So what I would like you to do right now is find a place inside of you that you want to heal, whether it's physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual in any way. All right. If it's physical, you can go to that part of the body. If it's just a system or another, you just come up, move from the heart. All right. So I want you to just find that, and then you can close your eyes for a few minutes. And I want you now to imagine on the part of the body that you chose, that picture we showed you of the flower of light as a sphere becoming a hologram. And for now, we can imagine that it's the white light of unconditional love. And imagine that's being superimposed upon that part of your body. And breathe that in. Now we'll call on Melchizedek, Metatron, and Michael, the three beings that are here for this time, for our re-education and our healing work. And now this hologram is being superimposed on that body part. It is created from the love of God, is how it's been created through you, from the love of God that is within you. Now we're going to ask that hologram to rotate around that area counterclockwise. And as it rotates on its own, when you do this work, you do not use your minds. When you do this work, you let go of the mind and go inside your heart, where you can allow it to happen of its own accord. If you start directing this from the mind, the process is more difficult. And I know as I teach this course over the years, it does take people sometimes a while to get this understanding that we don't make up these things with our mind, but we allow the light to pour through us and do the work. But we happen to be living at this time where we have a new energy from the higher realms that's pouring into this earth. Everybody is reacting to it, either through the light or in other forms. So this is happening much faster now than I began my teaching way back in the early 2000s. So you allow this to move in rotational counterclockwise direction and trust that it's happening, because your own higher being knows what you are directed to do, and it's your own higher being that allows it to happen, not your mind's. So we're going to give a few moments for that to work. The cleansing is being done now. Now that we put the white light of unconditional love on it, imagine that it's changing into the violet light of transmuting. You can make these holograms or any colors that we need or any lights that we need. And now this violet light of transmutation is pouring on it, and it's still going counterclockwise, releasing. Counterclockwise direction is the direction of release. So now take a deep breath and allow the release to take place. Keeping that hologram in that place you want healed tonight. We're now going to ask our own higher being to allow it to rotate in a clockwise direction. And we're going to call on the green ray of healing of Archangel Raphael to pour the green ray of healing light upon it. And now it's going clockwise, and it goes clockwise direction because now after the release, when we bring in the higher energy is going to move clockwise. You might feel this movement or you might not. It makes no difference. You direct your higher self. As you learn this process, eventually it clicks at some point. It doesn't always click to everybody in the beginning. But with this new energy coming in and pouring in at this time, it's happening faster and faster for people. So allow it to happen. And we get our minds out of the way. And allow is the big word for this work. Allow your higher self to do for you what needs to be done to bring you more and more light. Now we're going to seal in that work and seal in that light. And we're going to call in the golden light with Archangel Uriel to seal in the healing that's been done on that tonight. So now that it's sealed in, we can imagine in the light of unconditional love of the white light, and imagine Archangel Gabriel upon you. And now as we're in that healing, we're going to have a meditation. And Greg is going to play Angel Symphony as we go through the meditation. And this will be a sacred geometry meditation. Calling in all the beings of light, Melchizedek, Metatron, and Michael, the three great beings that are here for each and every one of us at this time. the Christ light, the Buddha light, all the ascended masters, the Elohim, the creator God, that have created everything on this earth. Remember, all creation started with imagining the light of God pouring in this earth. And then a sound was made. And the breath of God came upon this earth and creation happened. Now imagine this hologram of unconditional love as a sphere, and it is around you when you are in the center of it. It is anchored in your heart. Now that this is anchored in your heart, feel the love and the light and compassion within your being. And extend that light above you, extend it beneath you, in front of you and back of you, to your right and to your left. You've extended that light, becomes a sphere of light around you. And this field of light that you've created around you, we can call our Merkabah of light now. This is who we are. We're multidimensional beings, and this field of light around us is multidimensional, so that our all physical being is here. Our mental, our emotional, spiritual being, our higher self, I am presence, is all within us and extended beyond us in our Merkabah field of light. And now we're going to call upon the 5 Platonic solids and make their presence known to us that are within the flow of life. And the first one we're going to call upon is the tetrahedron. You do not have to know what the tetrahedron looks like. Just trust that when you call it, your own higher being allows its energy to be there. Even though we can see the tetrahedron in form, it is a vibration, it is a frequency that we can feel within our being as a vibration. We're going to imagine it as a crystalline red hue of light. This represents the fire element and also represents the divine will. We allow the divine will to merge with our will as we create upon this earth. Now we'll call forth the hexahedron. The hexahedron is the cube. The hexahedron represents the earth energy. So we're going to imagine it as a crystalline orange hue of light, representing divine creativity. Breathe it in to your hearts. Next, we'll call upon the octahedron. The octahedron shows as a crystalline yellow hue of light. It represents the air element. It represents divine unity, as above, so below, as a crystalline light of the ray of light of the yellow of the octahedron. We now call in the icosahedron. The icosahedron will come as a crystalline blue light, representing divine compassion. The icosahedron represents the water element. Breathe it in, knowing. You're breathing in its frequency and its vibration, activating within your being, because we are made of this sacred geometry. We are activating the sacred geometry within us in this meditation. And now call in the dodecahedron as a crystalline blue hue of light, representing divine wisdom. The divine wisdom, the wisdom of the sage, lies deep within our being, to be expressed at this time as we learn more and more about who we are. This represents the element of ether, the spirit element. Breathe it in. And now we're going to imagine a star tetrahedron. There's a tetrahedron within a tetrahedron. It's a star tetrahedron. And it's going to come in as a crystalline violet light upon us. Its frequency of the violet light is now upon us. We have vibrated to the violet light. This represents transmutation of everything that we're dealing with, from darkness to light. We're in the world to see and understand and make the choices in this duality that we're in. The pairs of opposites we're dealing with and choosing and learning discernment with each and every day of our lives. And so we live in duality. And we're learning how to move into that singularity of the higher realms, which Greg talked about as a singularity within our hearts. It's a portal of love is our hearts. This is who we are, multidimensional beings. As a portal of light within us. We've covered up, think about what we've covered up with. All these emotions that come out of the ego. And we're learning at this time all about our ego and how we choose things of the light, through the discernment that we learn on this journey that we're all on. So now feel yourself as a magnificent human being. For the great masters have taught us that is who we are. We are magnificent. We are love. We are healers. We are that we're searching for. As the master that told us, the kingdom of light, and the kingdom of heaven lies within you. As the Master Jesus taught, it's within us. And we ask ourselves, oh my, why have we been looking on the outside all this time, through these lifetimes. And we come, now we're cleaning up all the old lifetimes, the lower Akashic record, and coming into the higher Akashic record, where we understood that we were the light. So all those memories of who we are and how we attained higher spiritual understanding. As we let go of all the stuff that has been gathered in the lower cache, we bring in that higher cache, and we now entered into our being, so we live in that, in this world. Allow our truth, the teachings of the masters, to come through our being. They're in the higher realms working with us, loving us, speaking to us, talking to us. Imagine their white light of unconditional love and know how much they love us. And what we need to learn is to try to love ourselves as much as these masters love us. And we ask ourselves, can we do it? Am I doing it? Am I learning to love myself and the way the masters love who I am? And this means every human being on this earth. We're all walking each other home, no matter what we're going through at this time. So as we gather this light around us, take in this white light of unconditional love, take in the golden light of divine wisdom, the platinum light, the higher realms of light. As we take all this light within us, we realize it is part of us and has always been within us. It's never been outside of us. We learn about it on the outside so we can merge our inner being with this light. And now we'll call upon the final light, a crystalline light. Feel the depth of the crystalline light and know why you've been led to crystals, and know why you love these crystals so very much. They're allowing you to remember that they hold the light and the matter of the crystal, where you also hold this crystalline light in your own being. And it's a beautiful light. It's a light of clearing out old stuff. So we call in the violet light for transmutation, and let it take a deep breath. Now call on the crystalline light to bring a clarity of being into you. And know you are that you are searching for. You always have been. You always will be. And more important than anything, you are that now. So we're learning how to be in the presence of the now through the wonderful work of Eckhart Tolle, bringing us into the understanding what it really truly means to live in the now, in the present moment. It's the only place where change can happen. It's the only place where transmutation can happen, is by first learning how to enter into the now moment. And we'll do our healing with these holograms of love and all this sacred geometry, because we finally realize we are sacred geometry. Namaste.
And at this time, we can feel great Archangel Melchizedek behind us, each and every one of us. Standing in the white light of unconditional love, standing behind us, strong, powerful, kind, and loving. And he places his hands upon our shoulders, helping us to ground all of these healings in. And as Archangel Melchizedek stands behind us, the great Egyptian Thoth, God of wisdom, we also work with in the Melchizedek method, he kneels before us and places his hands on the tops of our feet, grounding us to dear, dear Mother Earth. The great Archangel Melchizedek behind us, great Thoth before us, Metatron above us, the great Archangel Michael below us, helping ground us and protect us. Now calling on the golden light to seal everything in, ground to dear Mother Earth. We imagine all this light coming in, into our crown, third eye, throat. Between the throat chakra and the heart chakra, there is a minor chakra called the high heart. We include this, especially now, as this is our immune system, central command, as it were. The high heart in aquamarine, we bring that color in. And the light continues down to our hearts, our solar plexus, our sacral center, our root chakra, down, down our legs, down, down, out the bottoms of our feet, down to dear Mother Earth, where our heart connects with her heart. And to finally ground to our dear Mother Earth, we speak to her heart to heart. And for just a moment, tell her something you love about her. That tree you saw when you were 5 years old, the mountain you climbed when you were 19, that river you put your feet in yesterday, anything, the cloud you saw earlier today. Tell her something about her that you love. This connects us to our mother. So with great respect and love, we thank all of our guides, masters, healers, and protectors. We thank the great archangels, Michael, Metatron, and Melchizedek, the three archangels who are here for the re-education of our world at this time. And we extend our thanks to all the angels that are here with us, our higher selves, I am presences. All 144,000 Melchizedek elders are here. We say thank you, God bless. And we thank ourselves for being here tonight, loving ourselves. To come here and learn how we can further love ourselves, take care of ourselves, bring the light in, not only for ourselves, but for those around us. Light is light. So when we call on that light for ourselves, it illuminates everything around us. Call it in. So now making a final connection with dear Mother Earth. Seeing that beam of light from our heart to hers, understanding that this connection is never broken, it's always there. We say namaste. And thank you. As we're coming back into the rooms where we are, you can start to feel your feet on the floor, the rug, the tiles, whatever room you meditate in. And you can open your eyes when you're ready. And so again, we have on the chat, we have our website, Joan and I's website address is the Reiki and Melchizedek Healing Center.com. And we encourage you to go there to learn a little more about the Melchizedek method and to see when we have some classes coming up as well. And we thank you for joining us here today. We've created a nice spiritual community here tonight, and we had a wonderful group healing. Everything is more powerful in group healing. So personally, I'd like to thank all of you for being here tonight and helping me with my healing.
Yes, we're all in this together.
Absolutely.
And that's the important thing to understand. We're not separate from each other. We are learning together and learning how to love one another and let go of all those emotions that keep us separate from each other. So if anything resonated with you tonight, just you look up on the website and you contact Circles of Wisdom about it. And the thing is that the materials I have to notify by November 5th, because I need a whole month to notify Australia, where my teacher has been, and with all the materials I get from Australia. Okay, so my teacher has since passed, but his son is in charge of the site now. So just being aware of your own being and what it is that you need within your own being to realize you are magnificent. Namaste.
Namaste. And thank you, everybody, for being here. Have a wonderful night. Drink lots of water and watch funny movies. All right. See you later, everybody. Thank you for being here.
All right.
Take care.